Yeah, man. No, it's been a while, but you know what? We always consistently seem to make it happen, right? So that's cool.
Oh, totally. It's always a great time being able to do it, and it's great to be able to talk to you one more time before my 10th anniversary of that drummer guy coming up on August 2nd. So it's really cool to be able to catch up with you one more time because of course you were my very first interview. So it's great to be able to always circle
That's
back.
right.
Oh,
That's awesome.
oh, totally. And speaking of great things that are coming out now, I mean, last week, Imonolith has released a brand new single, and I can't stop listening to it. And I love what's going on with Angievil. I mean, it's like I told you before, like it feels like a natural progression for the band, and it just feels like the formula's working even better. You guys are even tighter than before, and it just like the band is just continuously improving, and I love to see that.
Thanks very much, man. With Angel, it 100% is a natural progression, and you'll hear as the EP goes on, we're going to be releasing more singles from it, and you'll hear even more of that, how the band has matured, how we progressed, how we've added a more progressive side to the writing, actually. Even lyrically, it's it's not necessarily a continuation from State of Being, but there's still deep subjects that we talk about that can still be portrayed many different ways by the listener when they're reading the lyrics, right? So we've matured in every facet of the band, and the thing is we just feel we're getting better and better, and that's the thing. You look for progress, right? There's a thing I always say to my drum students: don't focus on perfection, focus on progress. And it's one of the reasons why we called the EP coming out Progressions, because that's what we're doing. We're focusing on that progress. It's not like we're trying to be perfect. We're just trying to be better and evolve in a natural way, in a very mature way. And that's the best way I can put it. And Angel is our first offering of that. We wanted to come out with something that's just going to kick you in the balls. You know what I mean? That's exactly what it does. And we're very, very proud of it. And it's getting killer response, and it's just started. So we're going to work it as much as we can before we release another single in a couple months from now.
Oh, it's so great to hear that too, and I'm so glad I was able to play it in a good amount of time too. I mean, like with the song coming out on Friday and then being able to have it on my show on Monday, like just being able to help promote that. I've heard a lot of people say that they haven't heard of Monolith before, but now they're checking you out now because of the new single. So it's great to see that the fan base is continuing with that, because you guys absolutely deserve it.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. And thank you so much for the push and stuff. And that's the thing. It's like there's, the people who follow us and stuff, they're like, oh, Monolith has been out for a couple of years. It's great, but we're still, even though we're made up of members from Threat Signal, Devin Townsend Project, we're still relatively unknown because we never had the chance to tour it, and all those things. But that's the nice thing too. You know what? I look at that as a positive. It's like, again, I'm always looking for the positives and moving forward, not focusing on the negative or what you can't do. But the bottom line is the fact that we're still going to be new to a bunch of people is a positive, because there's still so many more people this can be exposed to. And it seems like it's starting to grow more and more as we go along. And once we get out there and tour, hopefully we can blow it right up and do even bigger things. But right now we're just focused on doing the best we can and getting it out to as many people as we possibly can across the globe.
Oh yeah, and that's what I've always tried to focus on as well too, because there's always going to be people that are not familiar with your music. I mean, you can be in Metallica or Iron Maiden or Megadeth, and people will still not be familiar with what the music is, especially if they're not familiar with the genre of music or they're just growing up and discovering music on their own. There's so many different ways to be able to discover music nowadays. So when they hear something that really captures them, I mean, it could be something that was released last week, or it could be something that's been around for 40, 50 years. When it comes to like hard rock and heavy metal, there's always a way to be able to discover, and it's great to see that.
Yeah, and that's it. It's like with today's industry, there's so much out there with streaming and all the different ways you can access music, right? But Yeah, you got to catch the people's attention one way or another. And with our brand of music, I think the best way to do that is be honest. Just be honest with yourself, be honest with your songwriting, and put out what you truly believe is great, not what you think other people think is going to be great. That's why the greats out there, like let's look at a band like Metallica. Why are they so great? Because they always stuck to what they wanted to do. When they went to the Black Album, that was a big change coming from And Justice from All. But you know what? They did what they wanted to do. And you know what? As a result, it was probably a big chance to do that. It made them even bigger. Look at Gojira. Gojira continues to do what they want to do in their own brand, in their own way. And their album just debuted #1 on Billboard. Good for them. That's amazing. You know what I mean? So as for Imonolith, that's the approach we're taking too. It's like, are we trying to reinvent the wheel of a genre in metal music? No, we're not. Are we trying to focus on music that makes us happy and we feel is the best songs that we can put forward? 100%. And I think if you stick to that way of thinking, to that way of progressing, you're going to have a greater chance at attracting, a greater audience. And that's our focus, and that's our goal.
Oh, totally. And when it comes to like the debut album, I mean, there were so many great songs and great singles that you guys were able to release to be able to promote that. And now seeing that coming up with the EP, I mean, with the first single just being so awesome, I can't wait to see what else is going to be released on the EP, because if this is just the starter of what's going on, I mean, there's so much more to be able to discover with the EP.
Yeah, the EP's got some surprises. That's all I'm going to say right now. I can't release too much, but we're going to be releasing more info on it soon. But it's got some surprises, man. And I think we're going to release stuff that might even shock people. That be like, what? Didn't expect that. But that's all part of it. That's all part of us maturing and having the sound move a certain way. But State of Being was a statement. It was an album that, we felt very confident. I love to this very day. But, with progressions, that's exactly what it is. That's why it's called that. Like I already mentioned, we're progressing into, what we are now. Because that's what we were a couple years ago. Or actually, to be 2015 is when Brian and I started writing State of Being, when we were still touring with Devin. We didn't know it was going to be a monolith, but we just wrote songs together. But, State of Being was where we were then, and where we are now is progressions, and it's exciting to see where it's going to unfold and where it's going to take us.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm so happy that you guys were able to take the best of a bad situation, which pretty much was 2020 on the outside world. I mean, when we were able to talk last, I remember how excited you were to be able to tour Europe, being able to hear these songs in that live setting, and being able to travel under the name of Monolith. And of course, the world decided against all of that for music in 2020. So I'm glad to see that you guys, just like, rather than just waiting for the opportunity to tour again, that you decided to progress the band, with progressions. I mean, just like showing that that songwriting chemistry is still there, that the group is as strong as ever and just continuing to grow, rather than just waiting to tour like some bands are.
Yeah. COVID, what can you do? Here's the thing. Life is going to throw you a ton of obstacles. It always will. But how you deal with that is truly what your outcome is going to be. If you take on a negative approach to it, you put that energy out there, I really believe you're going to get that energy back. If you just focus on you and doing the best you can with the situation you're in, let's use COVID as that example, you just keep pushing forward. We could have just sat on State of Being and waited for the tours to happen and then go on tour, but it didn't make sense to us. It's like, let's give something to our followers, let's keep busy, let's progress, and let's put something out to make this tour even better, so we can have more songs out there, so we can have an even better set, and keep everyone happy with new music. So COVID, it sucked for every band on the planet. It sucked for Metallica. They couldn't tour or do anything either, so like how you deal with it, it's like, that's everything. And right now, I'm not gonna lie, it hurt us in a big way. We released our album on March 27th, 2020, and we were supposed to start a tour the exact same day, and everything got canceled like 9 days before we were supposed to fly out. So you have multiple months of PR and radio leading up to it, which were doing really good for us. and then bam, everything's taken away. And, you know, you can't even really blame COVID. It's a circumstance. What you need to do is work through that, you know, and it happened. So there's no need for blame. Just what are you going to do about it? You can blame something all day, or you can do something about it. So we chose to do something about it, you know, and that's what this EP is. And, you know, that's how I focus on life too. You know, it's like I'm throwing obstacles all the time, man. I've gone through 2020 was a crazy year for me personally. I'm not going to get into the personal stuff, but it was a crazy year personally for me. Never mind everything that happened to Imonolith. But you know what? I think I came out a stronger person in the end, and I think Imonolith is coming out a stronger band in the end as well. So, you know, that's just the way we approach it. And like I've said, we're really excited for the future.
Yeah, and it makes me so happy to hear that too. I mean, being able to take all the negatives of last year, just like you said, with the personal stuff that was going on, still might be going on, and of course the world as well too, when it affects work. I mean, you know, it's just like when you're able to take that negative energy and turn it into something great and turn it into something positive. There's no greater feeling than that when you're able to overcome obstacles like that and show that you are that strong and you know, just like what I keep saying, you're progressing as a human being and being able to just move forward like that. So, I mean, the fact that is still that mindset going on and no obstacles are able to throw you off like that, I mean, it's such a great thing to be able to live by.
Well, that's it. It's applicable to anyone's life. It's applicable to any band. So, yeah, you know, you said it perfectly, and that's exactly what I was mentioning before, is just the intangibles of life are going to happen, but how you deal with them and how you overcome them, it depicts what your future is going to be. So right now, we are offering for battling COVID-19 and everything that happened in 2020 was coming out with this EP. And, you know, like I said, we offered Angel. There's going to be another single coming out in July, which we're going to announce the news soon about. And, you know, we have a pretty cool plan coming up that we're going to execute leading up to our tour. So lots of exciting stuff coming down the road, lots of announcements. And, yeah, it's time to kick ass, man. Things are gearing up. The tour is starting to happen. Let's do this shit, man.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why I'm so excited too. I mean, hearing about that plan, hearing about upcoming tour and when that comes to like 2021 and beyond, like the track listing that's going to be going on, the EP cover. I mean, there's so much to look forward to with this new cycle. And like you mentioned before, like being able to spice up the set list too, because now you have a whole album and a whole EP worth of music to be able to choose from and see what works and what really is going to make for like the best sets to be able to play.
Well, that's it. And to be able to test that out in various crowds throughout Europe and the UK, man, that's living the dream. You know, especially for a band like us who's 100% independent on our own record label. And, you know, we're able to do our first tour ever as a, 5 to 6 week tour of Europe and the UK. That's insane, man. So, you know, to be able to test out all the music, to be able to tour over there and do a headlining tour, it's just so much to be thankful for. You know, lots of gratitude over on this side, man. So can't wait. I just can't wait.
Oh, totally. And another thing that I love so much about the single is because you prove once again that every time you play that Sonar kit, it just starts to sound better and better. Like you get more accustomed to it with that amazing setup that you got. And every single time that there's new recordings of you, I can just hear how much that you're loving that kit, loving the sound of the kits, and really just making the best of what a Sonar kit can be.
Yeah. I'll tell you, man, best drum set I've ever owned. That SQ2, they made 2 of them for me. There's one waiting for me in Europe. Still haven't even touched it. Still haven't even opened the boxes, and because that was supposed to be played on our tour in 2020. So yeah, it's super, super exciting to record music with it, to practice on it, to teach on it, because I teach students all around the world as well, and I have a ton of students in town in Vancouver here. So that kit is just, it's one of those things where, it's like if you get your dream car and you're walking up to it every morning to go drive somewhere and you just have this huge smile on your face. Every time I open the door to my rehearsal space, I'll take the blanket off it because I always cover it to, protect from dust and all that. I take really good care of my shit. And every time I unveil it, I'm just like, it's like the first day that I got it, and I'm just like, damn, I just did something at Drumeo and recorded a bunch of drum lesson videos for them. And, I brought the kid in there and they're just like, holy crap, that's gorgeous, and they have lots of beautiful kits there, but they're just like, well, what a drum set, and they even said one of the nicest drum sets to come through there, so I got lots of guys. Dave Atkinson took a spin on it. He's one of the co-owners of Drumeo, and, everyone loved it, right? And it's just, I'm very thankful for everyone at Sonar. They've been very supportive of Imonolith, of Devin Townsend project when I was with him, and just of my career period, right? And it's a great relationship that I have with them in all my endorsements. But yeah, that Sonar drum kit, that's my dream kit right there, man. I'm very grateful for it.
Oh, absolutely. And, along with that too, I mean, with it being like such a perfect setup for metal, it's great to see that you're able to take some of it down and make it into a 4-piece, and just like being able to just play some 4 on the floor beats. Like I saw that you were doing some session work earlier this year. That's really cool to see that.
Yeah, no, I actually did a couple sessions. I did one that was like a pop punk record. And then recently, about a month ago, I recorded, about 3 weeks ago, I recorded this band called Billy Butcher, and they were like AC/DC type of style of music. So I just brought in a basic setup and just hammered it out, man. And it was incredible. Like, it was incredible. And I love being able to do that. That's the beautiful thing about owning a set that big, is there's so many configurations you can set up, because I got a ton of cymbals, a ton of drums, and it's a lot of fun to set up different ways. It inspires you in different ways too, to play differently. And that's what I'm always looking for as a drummer too, is to improve. Can I pull stuff off on a small kit like I can a big kit? And I can, but I'm always looking for ways to make myself better in that aspect. So the versatility of the kit is incredible, and yeah, it's really cool to play on smaller versions of it as well.
Oh, for sure. And going into the drumming itself, I mean, it's awesome to see all those opportunities that you do get, and I think it is so important. I mean, whether you're just listening to different music or being able to play different music and record different music, I think it's just so cool that you're able to adapt to those situations. Like, you're doing pop rock, you're doing AC/DC rock and roll, you're doing a Monolith heavy metal. I mean, just being able to have all those situations where not only can you just do that for fun, but you're doing it for the recording experience, to be able to learn what bands are looking for and being able to add that to your repertoire. I mean, you're, again, with the progression, I mean, it's only getting stronger and stronger when you're able to do things like that.
Yeah, and I think experience, age, the longer you go on, the more mature you get, and the more you realize that it's not about metal, it's not about pop, it's not about rock. Dude, it's about music. It's about the feeling. It's about doing what you truly love to do. And I love to play drums. So when I'm hammering out something that's an AC/DC type song, people might be like, oh, there's no double bass or craziness. It's just 4 on the floor. You know what? Sometimes that's the hardest thing to play for some drummers, but it's not for me, because I love what I'm doing. You know what I mean? I love the sound of my kit. I love the parts that I came up, because those parts suit the song. When I write a Monolith song, there's lots of Monolith songs that my drum students who are intermediate, even beginners, are learning, because they're not that difficult. But it has nothing to do with how difficult it is. It has everything to do with the fact that the drum part was written for that song. You're playing for the song. So for me, that's what that connection is with drumming. It's doing what's best for the music. It's not doing what's best for your ego. It's not about being the fastest or the craziest or doing whatever. Just feeling, man. Putting that feeling, your feeling, into your drum kit, which goes into the music, and you're playing for the song. If there's anything that I can say to any up-and-coming band, after all my experience with Devin Townsend over the years and now going into a Monolith, it's like, play for the song, guys. It doesn't matter if you're metal, if you're pop, punk, blues, country, it doesn't matter. Play for the song. The art of the song should never, ever disappear, because it's a little scary of how infatuated people are with being technical, being crazy, or just, how many notes can you fit in, or whatever the scenario may be. Don't focus on that. If you're playing in a tech band, like say Animals as Leaders, they still write great music for that style and genre of music. You know, it's because that's what that music's about. It's about all the crazy polyrhythms and whatever, but it's still extremely musical, the stuff that Tosin does with his guitar. You know, Matt Garsk is a ridiculous drummer, you know, and what he throws in there is very musical at times. And then, you know, lots of the time it's crazy technical. You know, it's like even me, and I understand their theory very well, I'll get lost listening to Matt, you know what I mean? But it's still bloody impressive. But in a roundabout way, those guys are still creating music for the song. You can see the feeling when you see them play live, and I've toured with them a couple times, right? And you see that, and that's amazing. Same with Javier, the guitar player, the other guitar player in that band. You know, he's just an incredible musician. So there's one thing I'm going to say. It's all about the song. Leave your ego at the door. You know, play for the music, play for yourself. But what you put into that instrument can shine through the music if you're playing for the song.
Oh, for sure. And, you know, just hearing about that again just reminds me of when I was reading Modern Drummer in school. And one quote that always stuck out to me was, the best drummer out there is the one you don't notice until you really dissect their parts. I mean, when it comes into a song or playing live, because they are playing for the song, they're just playing with the groove. They're making the song so perfect for what it needs to be. And, you know, it's like until you like really start to like notice the fills that they're doing, when you start to notice the tones, the cymbals, the sounds that's coming out of it, I mean, it really shows where a drummer can really play for the song, and the more you dissect it, the more you can learn about how they approach a song. And it's just so cool to see how so many adaptations you can do that with music. And just like you said, I mean, it doesn't come down to pop or rock or anything like that. It comes down to music and being able to play for the song. And I think that's such an important aspect.
It is. And don't get me wrong, I think there are a ton of bands out there who do that. You know, every band technically does. Any album that's released, I think that's what they're doing. I just think, you know, the up-and-comers feel that they have to do this or they have to do that. You don't have to do anything. What you should do is you follow your heart. You follow what you truly feel is best. And, you know, put your style on it. Put your own style on it. You know, be a first-rate version of yourself, not a second-rate version of someone else. Take from your own influences, don't try to be them, you know, and that's the thing, man. And that's when I think you're going to be most happy, which is the most important. And you're also going to come up with your best music. So, yeah, it's a good thing. And don't get me wrong, I'm not being pessimistic in any way, saying that there's lots of bands out there doing that where they're not playing for the song. It's all about their egos. But that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying I notice, for example, through a lot of my drum students, they just want to be so technical. They, you know, when I say, okay, let's break this down, do it like this, and I'll give them an example on the kit. Next thing you know, they're trying to play it twice as fast as the way it just demoed it for them. It's like, why are you doing that? Like, everyone's obsessed with speed or technicality, or they got to show it off. And to me, that's just like the ego coming out. Whereas if you just step back, you look at everything, you break it down, you gradually build it up, you'll get there quicker. You will get there quicker, because if you just sit there trying to play things super fast and technical and just trying to show off all the time, it's going to take you 10 times longer to do it, because you won't be able to do it. You know, and when my students can't do the beat and I finally make them slow it down to the speed or even slower than what I demoed it to them, they always get it. And then we bump it up 5 BPM, bump it up 5 BPM. Next thing you know, 5-10 minutes later, they're playing it not only at the speed that they tried to play it at first, they're playing it even faster. So it's the same thing when it comes to this. Just, you know, like, be yourself, take your time with it, you know, put your passion into it, and you know, check the ego at the door. That's all I'm saying there. It's like, don't be obsessed with anything other than writing music that makes you happy and that you feel is putting your best song forward. And that's what we do in Imonolith. We seriously write music that we enjoy and that we feel are great songs that lots of people can enjoy worldwide. And that's what we did with Progressions. Sure, it got a little more progressive. I said it got a little heavier, but that's in our genes. That's who we are. You know, State of Being is who we were as well, that first album. But it was just a different side of who we are. So we're progressing and showing other sides and evolving. And I think that's important to evolve, to, show the evolution of your music over time. And, in a nutshell, that's where it all comes to with Imonolith. And I don't know, just out of years of experience, I think that's good advice for up and coming bands.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. And, thinking about that as well, too, I mean, you did touch on it a little bit, but I wanted to go a little bit more into it. I mean, it's so cool because I watch Drumeo all the time, and knowing that you got to be able to do some lessons for Drumeo and being able to show off some great techniques, some great things to be able to learn as a drummer. I mean, just being able to have that, invitation to be able to set your kit up there, being able to show off what you've learned over the years. I mean, it's so cool to be a part of something like that.
Yeah, it's an honor, and I'm very grateful for it. That was something 5 years in the making. They asked me the first time to come out like 5-6 years ago, and it's just I was so busy touring with Devin, had tons of other things going on. Even though they're 45 minutes away from where I live, it was just really hard to set it up. So when we finally were able to make it happen, it was really cool. And they're a big company. They're the biggest online drum lesson community in the world, and to have them ask you to come in and to do all that and to pay you to do that is incredible. You know what I mean? It's like, it's an honor, right? And I really enjoyed my time there. I taught lessons that I thought could be used by any level of drummer, beginner, intermediate, or advanced. And, there's a lot of stuff that you and I have been talking about in this interview that I talk about in those various videos, that's very positive and helping every drummer be the best they can be and be the best version of themselves. So it was just a killer experience. I'm super excited for them to release, the videos and stuff. And there's some playthroughs of different material that I did as well. And I believe this Friday, tomorrow, they're releasing I did a live thing with them, and they're releasing that on their YouTube page, I believe. And it's pretty cool. I do a time signature exercise in that one, and it's a lot of fun. I play Hollow by Imonolith, and I also do a playthrough of Planet of the Apes by Devin Townsend Project, which is pretty fucked up song. 11 minutes of craziness, man. But very cool stuff, man. It's awesome. It was an honor to be a guest on Drumeo.
Oh, totally. And bringing up Planet of the Apes, I mean, that every time that you do bring up a Devin song, like something like that, I just go back and I think about the shows that we were able to hang out at, and where I was able to see you play, and being able to see you play that's on that really short tour that you did where you hit Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and it was right around the time of that, and you were able to play Planet of the Apes around that time. I mean, I really love the way that came off live, and your interpretations of, even if you were doing a Dirk song, you were able, like a Jular, being able to add your own touch to it while still making the song for the song. I mean, that stuff is so important.
Yeah, it's like I respect what Dirk did. I'll respect what any drummer did with Devin's past music, and I learn it pretty much to how they do it. I definitely did an interpretation of Dirk's part. He has triplet 16s going the whole way through the song, and I played it that way a couple times live, but it's just when you're doing 2-hour sets and the way that I hit, because I hit fairly hard. I have great technique and I've worked on it very hard with my technique and whatnot, but just when I'm live, that's just who I am. It's part of the show. I get into it and I hit fairly hard, and I need to preserve energy. So whenever I did it with Did Jalar live, I do a different interpretation of the double bass part. But it's like Planet of the Apes, I recorded that song on Deconstruction, and it's like even live, I did a different interpretation from what I did on the album. It's like just because things evolve, and I found different beats, different fills that suited the music even better. So it's really cool to hear that evolution as well. And to play it on Drumeo is the version that I played live all the time with Evan. It wasn't like a lot of the album stuff that I played, it's in there, obviously. But it's really cool to hear how much more the song grooves, how much tighter it is with the parts that were written, on guitar and bass and stuff. It's just really cool, man. But good times, it's like that was a challenging band to be in because he threw many styles of music at you, so it was really cool. very, very proud of everything that I did with Devin, and very grateful to have had the experience for the better part of 16 years playing with him.
Oh, for sure. And now with Imonolith being such a huge focus of what you're doing now, and knowing that you were able to record Hollow at Dromio, like, I can't wait to hear that interpretation of it. I mean, with the song being out over a year now, of course, and being able to hear what it sounds like now in 2021 compared to how it sounds in 2020, and just like, you know, whether it's just like a little fill, whether you're doing the exact same thing. I mean, there's so many different ways that you can go about things to make the song your own, and, you know, adding a little bit of improv in there, even if it's just like a short fill or something like that, it's always fun to be able to spice things up like that.
Yeah, and you know, it's like some songs, like for example, Hollow that I played on at Dromio. You know, there's sometimes where I play the song pretty much like the album, and that's exactly it with Hollow. To be honest, a lot of State of Being, I'd say like 95% of it, I pretty much play the fills, beats, cymbal shots, exactly everything the same way as the album, because I put so much thought into that record and trying not to overplay, but play for what was, you know, best for the song, right? So I find when you have songs like that, same thing was with the Devin Townsend project too, or Devin Townsend band. It's like, if there were specific songs where it was really worked out and everything just seemed right, like the song Deadhead by Devin Townsend band, you know, it's like I pretty much played it exactly like the record live every single time, because it was a perfect part for it. But when you have chances to like, you know, improvise and maybe make things even cooler, because you listen to the song and you're playing the song so much more as you play it every night while you're on tour, sometimes you realize like, oh, this part sounds really cool with this guitar part. It actually matches up a little bit more, and it evolves, you progress. Right. So, you know, with the Imonolith, State of Being was really thought out, because, you know, they say you have your whole life to write your first record. And that's kind of the case with this one, with the Imonolith. Right. And even with Angel and other songs on Progressions, it's like, again, really thought out, you know, and so far I'm playing everything just like the recording on Angel. Will that change live? Maybe. But for the most part, you know, it's like I thought it was the best parts for that song. So I'm really enjoying playing it the way it is. But yeah, you know, it varies from song to song, but it's nice to have those different interpretations here and there live.
Oh, very much so. And, you know, thinking about that again when it comes to Progressions and just like hearing the rest of the songs and how well thought out I know they have to be, you know, especially like you said with State of Being, you know, like having that so thought out, and now Progressions being able to have that thought out, and, you know, just thinking about everything again when it comes to Imonolith, I mean, it's just so great to see everything that is going on right now, you know, taking the delays that happened in 2020, making the best of it, and really pushing for everything that's going to be going on forward, you know, with the upcoming EP, the upcoming touring, everything that'll be coming up after that, being able to do press with someone like myself and other people around the world, being able to talk about some great music like Imonolith, and, you know, just being able to have that course going in the right direction, and just like being able to build up that fan base and having people coming out to tours and buying the albums. I mean, I'm just like I told you before, like for the first time we were able to talk about Imonolith, I'm just so happy to see where you are right now when it comes to musically making the music that you want to make, whether you're playing for the song, whether you're showing off your chops, whatever the case is. I mean, just knowing that you're able to still do that and keeping strong like that, you know, having known you as long as I have, I'm always going to be happy to see you playing the music that you want to play, and just knowing that you're happy doing that music.
Yeah, and that's it, man. I'll always be like that moving forward. And you know, that's the thing, man. You have one shot at this life, right? So you might as well make it the best it can be, day in and day out. And that's what I do with this band. You know, that's what I did with any band that I played in. That's what I do with any session. When I was recording Billy Butcher at our beautiful Armory Studios a few weeks ago, it's like, that was my focus. That was my thing. And I put everything that I had into that. I'm very proud of it, you know, and I think that's key, is to always do what you love and love what you do as much as you possibly can every single day of your life. That's a focus. Take one day at a time. Don't worry about your past. You know, the past is done. Learn from it. You know, don't worry about the future because it hasn't happened. But, you know, live in the present. You know, think positively towards what you want to do with your future. and work at it in the present and make the most of it every single day. And it's amazing how things can work out for you, you know. And I've had a great career up to date to this very day, and I'm very proud of everything I've done. And man, I'm far from done. You know, there's so much more to do, and very grateful for it all, and very excited for it all in the future.
And I think that's an amazing note to be able to end on, too. I mean, with that positivity, knowing what you want to be able to do in the future, but being able to live in the present, enjoying everything that you're doing. You know, even just like right now, being able to promote music that you were able to record, but still to be coming out with progressions. I can't wait to be able to hear this EP when it comes out. All the surprises that will be involved in it. Like I said before, like I love being able to check out the track listing, the album artwork, everything that goes into a release, and I can't wait to be able to see all that and hear it, and hopefully hear it live at some point, you know, whether a North American tour happens in the near future or later on or whatever the case is. It'll just be great to be able to hear those songs in live setting, and of course being able to see you again.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to get out there, and you bet your ass we come out your way, man. You're coming out to a show. We'll get another hangout in, and I'll show you that Sonar SQ2 kit, man. You can take it for a spin. And I can't wait to get back to that. I really can't. It's going to be awesome, man. It's something that I'm just excited for, and I need to get back to it. So that's exactly what I'm focused on, and let's make it happen, man.
Oh, absolutely. I'm 100% going to take you up on that. I have to pick my jaw up off the floor after you said I could take a spin on your kits. I mean, it's just like, it's one of my favorite sounding kits because of the way I know how you know how to dial that in, and the cymbal setups that you got for it, and just making sure everything sounds perfect for the styles that you play. So, you know, just like even being able to see that kit again is just going to be so cool, let alone being on the driver's side of that.
Yeah, man, we'll make that happen, and it'll be awesome, brother. Like, once you hit those toms, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. They're just, it's unbelievable. But yeah, you know, it's great to see other drummers too take it for a spin, just to see the look in their eyes and the smile on their face going, damn, you know, because it is a beautiful set of drums. There's no question. But yeah, man, I'd love for you to do that, and it'd be great to see you. And as always, Josh, it's a pleasure doing these interviews with you, man. It's like we always have great conversations. And I really appreciate you pushing, you know, the Progressions EP that's coming out, and pushing Angel and all that stuff. It means a lot to us. Like I said, we're a known band, but relatively unknown. You know what I mean? So, like, we're still pushing it out there and trying to make this band as big as it can be. And it's exciting, but your support means a lot. So thank you very much again for this interview. I really appreciate it, man.